This week, you're going to finally realize who or what you're ready to break free on, especially with all of that expansive energy that's pushing you to go forward and grow in new ways. Your soul is ready to move up, to ascend, to move into a new direction. So be open to receiving a lot of information this week through your intuitive, psychic, and also practical channels. Hey everyone, it's Christine here. Welcome to this week's weekly energy forecast for the week of December 11th through the 17th. Quick reminder before we get started, if you're interested in being entered into December's monthly drawing for a complimentary 60-minute personal reading with me that includes tarot and oracle, comment down below with the animal of your choice or with your favorite animal. I think I said that kind of differently. If you'd like to be entered, I will be drawing 3 winners at the end of the month, and we'll announce in January during one of these weekly energy forecasts and also in a post. Let's get started with the astrology, you all. So on December the 11th, we start the week off on a very positive note. The moon entering in Sagittarius early in the morning. And then we have Mercury in Capricorn sextiling Venus in Scorpio. So there's a general positive, optimistic, and feel-good energy as we start this week off, especially with this sextile happening. The way we communicate our thoughts, the way we want to express, the way we're relating and peopling, we're going to see a positive energy happening at the start of this week. Anything having to do with relationships, with money, with our self-worth, conversations around these themes. And also if you are wanting to maybe meet up with people, go out, or there's a confluence of energies that you have to contend with, this is a great time to either deal with that or set something up. I also kept getting, we will feel the light before seeing it. So again, this is all energy that we're feeling. I feel like many folks are going to feel a lot more hopeful, like something is turning, something feels lighter. And the energy this week definitely does feel lighter. You always intuit this first and always feel it first before you see it in your reality. So this is an excellent time to people, to get together with others, to express yourself, to have those conversations, and to simply be in company of others or yourself. On December 12th, we have the new moon in Sagittarius happening at 6:32 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I did a separate new moon in Sagittarius video, which I will link somewhere around here. If you're interested in seeing it, I highly recommend it. As always, there are timestamps so you can jump around, and I will say many of the alignments that I discussed here in the particular aspects, I go into a lot more detail in the new moon video. Since it's happening this week and many of these alignments are not just existing in a 24-hour period or less, they're ongoing. Essentially, with this new moon, you are going to be feeling, if you haven't already, I feel many folks have been feeling this itch. It could come in the form of restlessness, also hope, especially when something hasn't worked out and something has completed or is ending or is about to in your life. And you're just feeling a sense of renewal. You know, it's almost like that sky is the limit type of energy. This is gone, this is going, this isn't working, or I'm wanting to revamp or change something in my life with something or someone. And this lunation is giving you the ability to do things from a different way, a different belief system, a different perspective. I won't get into it at all because I really unpacked it in this new moon video. And there were so many messages that came through. So something else that's being highlighted is to really pay close attention to the intuitive, psychic, and also practical messages you're receiving, because they're all helping you weave this next start that is about to come. I also want to say, some folks don't talk about this, especially when we start new moons or a new moon cycle. People are like, yes, great time to take action to manifest their goals. But it's only during the waxing crescent phase of the moon, about 2 to 3 days after. And then this lunation, it'll happen very shortly after it perfects. So at the time of the new moon, it's a great time to actually let go of things, to clean up, to release. You can set an intention too of what you're willing to let go of, and anything that allows you to essentially get rid of, to release. On December 13th, we have Mercury in Capricorn stationing retrograde at 8 degrees of Capricorn first. And then we also have the moon in Capricorn, I should say. So again, like with many retrogrades, the key themes here have to do with the prefixes RE, revising, retrospecting, redoing, reflecting, reorganizing as well. And these have to do largely with the Capricornian themes and energies of our lives. So take a look which area Capricorn rules in your natal chart. So the significations dealing with Capricorn also bring up the theme about what we've been working on and who we've been doing this with in our life. And they don't have to be the same. They could be separate. But there could be energies in your life that have been in your life for a while. The same thing with certain goals, projects, jobs, whatever it is. And there's something here that we're being asked to take a look at again. The same thing with this, since this is happening right with the new moon in Sagittarius. There's certain things to revise before we actually get things going and off the ground. So do you feel or sense that anything is about to come to an end, or that you need to end something? Because the universe also gives you the choice to ask yourself and to actually take action on ending anything, because we all often get signs about this. Likewise, sometimes you may feel things are about to come to an end and it takes a natural organic course. Remember, Capricorn is still in the dark part of the year, but we're starting to head towards the light. Hence we haven't even reached the winter solstice at the time of this filming, but after that we have the spring equinox. So this also signifies the return to light. Hence the period of waiting right now, where it's not a good time to take action and go towards what we want, especially since we have the retrograde here. So there is a little bit of a buffer of, wait a minute, this is what I want, but is this really what I want? Am I ready to do this? Because I kept sensing energy, and this is more with the new moon video, about some folks trying to bring the past into the new. And I'm not saying you can't, because obviously people bring their families and certain goals that are ongoing. This is going to be very individual for everyone, but there's certain things in your life, especially mindsets and belief systems, that are getting ready to end, and you're being guided towards that. With this retrograde, we're going to get even greater clarity, because about, midway, maybe the 23rd, don't quote me on the correct date yet, I think it's around the 22nd, 23rd, Mercury shifts from Capricorn into Sagittarius. So it'll be ingressing into another sign and completing this retrograde there. We're going to get greater clarity about what we want to move forward with in our life. Why? Because there's a greater depth here that's happening with Capricorn, because it's symbolized by the seagull, right? It's a mythical creature. And this is something I even had to learn too, because we don't hear it discussed a lot, the meaning behind this. But if you think about the water element with the seagull, because it comes out from the depth of the ocean, we're really diving deep here, not just with the retrograde, but during this new moon energy, during this dark phase, and even leading up to it. There's been a lot of shedding, a lot of releasing, and going within and asking ourselves, what do we truly desire? Because a lot of this is coming from our intuitive and psychic realms. This is why there's been a repeated theme, especially with squares to Neptune and with some Plutonian alignments happening, about asking yourself, what am I receiving? What am I feeling? Because it's all coming from that connection that you have to the divine, to yourself, and to something that you may not see right now that's materialized in this earthly realm. So this is important, because once you piece together these different, we'll call them puzzle pieces or nuggets, it's going to allow you to piece together a vision with greater clarity. It's like, okay, this vision is my next step in this chapter of my soul journey. And that's when we see the goat, the mythical goat, sea goat, climb up the ladder. That's why Capricornian energy, those with Capricornian placements, are usually denoted as being very ambitious, climbing the ladder. But it's all about getting clear first, because the Capricornian energy doesn't just take unclear, shitty plans and they're like, yeah, we're gonna go. There has to be some sense of not just a realistic way of, okay, this is what I want to accomplish, but there has to be some type of emotional connection as well, because Capricornian energy, Capricorn's not just about doing something just for the sake of doing it, because it can persist, it can work for a long time, it can initiate things as well, but it's about having that deeper connection. So this is where the retrograde is going to be especially helpful, because you'll constantly, almost energetically, get bumps or being asked, hey, this is what you want. Hey, they're like constant reminders and pop quizzes. So this is a different way you can look at the retrograde, because most people see it as something negative, but this is a great time to get clear again. Clarity is important here. In addition, with the Capricornian significations and energies that I talked about, there's also an additional layer too with Mercury, because Mercury deals with communication or transmission of how we communicate and express through our intellect, intelligence, reading, teaching, talking, conversing, writing. Also deals with commerce, travel, transportation, technology. And something too I don't hear often with retrogrades is Mercury is a trickster, likes to play. If any of you have some knowledge of Greek mythology, there's some great resources. I would recommend children's books because of the pictures. It brings it to life, but it doesn't have to be in that way either. But Mercury, Hermes in Greek mythology, was all about having fun. He pulled a lot of pranks on the gods, which is why many of the gods, like Apollo, they got pissed off at him. So there's that dual element. There's a sense of looking at things both ways and being careful of you playing yourself. So if there's something that you truly want to pursue, but you may be thinking, oh, this is too hard, or this is that, be careful, because this retrograde is going to emphasize any ways that you are being duplicitous with yourself, and also obviously with others, because you're not just existing in an isolated bubble. So this is a great time. Those themes Mercury rules, the same thing with Capricorn that I mentioned. It's really about going within with self. So journaling again, getting a paper. You can also use other mediums like art and finding ways to express, what do I want to release right now? What do I want to, or what is calling me to create, to establish, or to plan, so that I can have this to take the next step on. So again, with the waxing crescent moon, this is all about taking action, because we're starting to see the light during the dark moon during the dark phase of this new moon. It's pitch black. That's why we don't see it in the sky. But as the sun starts to reflect more light, we see the little crescent form, right? The waxing crescent, hence the shape and the name. So we're seeing slivers of illumination come through, of light. In other words, we're receiving more knowledge. It could be intuitive, psychic, practical. And this is going to allow us to start taking those action steps, to embrace the new, to embrace new opportunities, to change things in our physical reality. Something I channeled with this particular alignment was Lady Gaga's Just Dance. And you know what's really interesting? I was guided to look up the meaning of the song. Lately, I feel like I've been guided to go deeper. It's not with all of them. And I looked up the meaning of the song here from americansongwriter.com. And Lady Gaga said in 2009, as she reported to The Guardian, a news outlet, that record saved my life. I was in such a dark space in New York. I was so depressed, always in a bar. I got on a plane to LA to do my music and was given one shot to write that song that would change my life, and I did. I never went back. And I think this was one of her first songs, maybe. And, you know, obviously for those that are familiar with her, she became a quick hit, you know, very popular, fast. So anyways, it's interesting because she denotes how she was in a dark, depressed state. And right now we are all in that with this new moon. So there's something here with this song, and it's very energetic. You don't have to like it. It's simply symbolic, what I'm telling you, especially when I channel music. It has to do with the lyrics and what the energy brings. So some of you may feel inclined to bring in some type of new playlist, it's almost like a new accompanying soundtrack to your life. I kept getting that strongly. On the 14th of December, we have the sun in Sagittarius trining the Northern Aries. Again, just a reminder, I talked a lot about these particular alignments in the new moon video, so I'm not going to go too deep into these here. You're being guided to take a risk, to take a step forward towards that dream. This is all about involvement, evolving, evolution, making progress. One chapter in your life is getting ready to close. And I feel so many folks are getting this message. And if you're not, sometimes what happens is the universe will create certain situations where it forces you to accelerate, to move forward. It's like, okay, time's up, we gotta go. It's kind of like when you're in the store. I keep getting kids. I've been getting a lot of kid energy lately. And kids are like, I want to stay. You know, they're at the playground and they want to stay and they're whining, and whomever is picking them up is like, we got to go. Dinner's ready or whatever. And they keep saying, no, I don't want to go. then they have to drag kids down or something happens. It's that type of energy. So be careful, and also take a look at how you're responding to certain things that you know are about to come to an end. You know intuitively, you feel this is not what I want to continue. This is, I know I'm going to do something different, because that's going to help you connect to this next part of your journey that it will start. There's something too that I channeled with this energy about your soul returning to something it's wanted to do, whether from a past life or an earlier part of your life in this incarnation, if you believe that. It could be when you were a child or earlier in your teenage years or sometime earlier. It doesn't matter, because everyone is going to be a different age when they see this. There's something here that you're being illuminated to again. You're feeling the spark, something come alive. It doesn't have to be necessarily the same thing, but there's some of that energy coming back here. So take a look, because I kept getting a bookmark energy. And again, I talk more about this in the new moon in Sagittarius video, but there's like a bookmark I kept seeing where people are opening the book and they're going back to that page they left off from. So it's time to move forward. On the 15th of December, we have the moon entering Aquarius. We have the moon obviously now in Aquarius, conjunct Pluto in Capricorn, and we have Mercury in Sagittarius trining Chiron in Aries. So there is such a deep desire to transform. There's something, and you'll feel it. You may feel it in terms of being restless, a feeling like sometimes you can't explain it, but you feel it in your energy, in your energetic body, in your psychic body. You feel it. And you feel like there's something that I need to change in my life or in my belief system or what I'm doing or who I'm doing this with. And I feel like this transformation is deeply being grounded, and that I keep seeing spirals. It's going up within and it'll execute without, obviously. So pay close attention this week, particularly with the lunation and with Mercury retrograde. What is coming up for you? What feelings are coming up? And how are you responding or conversing with these energies? Because they're speaking really loudly to you at this time. Even though there may not be a megaphone where someone is loudly saying this to you. It's all internal. We're feeling it. We have a lot of Saturnian energy from the 13th through the 17th with Capricorn and Aquarius here. And they are expressed in different ways, which I won't get into because this isn't the video for it, but we have a very strong push and drive. It's very internal. It's happening from our soul to finally let go, release, end chapters, heal, close that story that's been on repeat. It's like, you know what, it's time for a new CD player or cassette player. For those of you that remember, they used to get stuck and we're like, shit, it's skipping. Or maybe not even the apparatus. We often had to get a new cassette itself or a new CD player because they were scratched or something happened to the little tape thing. So we have the ability to make these decisions for ourselves. This is what the Saturnian energy is really asking us to dive deep in. What is connecting right now is the sea goat that I mentioned earlier. It's very deep. Capricorn energy is super deep. So the universe is guiding you right now strongly to move forward. You know, when you're in a crowd and you accelerate, you're in a queue of some sort, a line, it's like time to move forward. Don't get stuck where you are. Your soul is calling you to evolve. This week, there's major push to go forward because Saturn is all about time. Capricorn and Aquarius energy, very different manifestations of the Saturnian energy. If we're looking at it from a more traditional Hellenistic astrological vantage point, right? Because some folks may ascribe to modern, and that's okay. And there's so many different types in between. But I'm more multidimensional when it comes to astrology and bridging these. And Aquarius is about respecting and valuing the past and saying, you know what, I learned everything I could, but it's time to move forward. We want to make room in order to grow. And Saturn is also too about respecting that, but knowing there's an expiration date to everything. It's that song I get from the bird sometimes. To every season, turn, turn. I think that's a religious passage for any of you that may read the Bible, because I'm not an expert in the Bible, but I know the lyrics were extracted from that as well. There's a season for everything, and Saturn is reminding you this season in your life, it can't go on forever. Something has to change, something has to shift because you need to evolve. Your soul is asking you to, and you may be feeling it. And that sense of making the decision and then the in-between and starting anew, that's probably the most uncomfortable for many people, and that's what's being highlighted this week. So this is an excellent reminder for you to do something different that you haven't done before that's going to lead to an outcome that you want, that you haven't experienced before because you've been doing the same thing. That was a mouthful, wasn't it? So big reminders with a lot of these energies this week. We're wrapping things up. It's interesting how it aligns to the calendar too. People tend to wrap things up during this time of year, even though I don't think New Year's goals and resolutions and starting fresh January 1st is the right way to go, but that's more energetic. December 16th, we have the Sun in Sag squaring Neptune in Pisces. This is going to continue until December 25th, and I talk a lot more about this in the new moon video again. Essentially, we may feel some type of, especially energetic obstruction, but feeling like we can't go after what we want, because the Sun is about our soul, our life soul expression, our life force energy, our goals, our aspirations, our career, our ambition, largely speaking. But we may be feeling some sort of doubt, some sort of frustration, something like it feels like we're being blocked. And I feel like a lot of these energies, it's almost like we're making cookies, and we've got Mercury retrograde here, the moon, and a lot of these different energetic alignments, and they're all being mixed. We have this push to move forward, right? But there's some things that are reminding us, okay, take a look again. Make sure that you've completely ended the past, that you've learned everything you needed to, that you've closed that chapter, because once you close it, there's no going back. So it's almost like when you're making cookies, once you add those chocolate chip cookies and mix them really well, or maybe we should say butter, you can't take it out. I mean, maybe with the chocolate chips, but it's a pain in the ass, especially when there's a lot. So there's something here about making sure, because you're going to receive intuitive golden nuggets throughout the week that are going to remind you of this, almost like little check-in points for you. I feel overall these energies are helping you to overcome something from the past, especially something that you have been a part of that has been long enduring for quite some time. This story is coming to an end. We have this with Chiron, with the North Node, with Pluto, with Neptune. Irregardless of the aspects they're making, they're all supporting you. That's the bottom line. Finally, on the 17th, as we wrap up the week, we have the moon shifting into Pisces. What a way to end the week. Pisces, you may feel extra or more emotional, heightened senses of things where you're receiving messages or just knowing them. This is the intuitive and psychic nature. But I also feel like there's energy here that's supporting this chapter that's closing. Energetically, you're going to feel it. You know when you have that realization when something is just over? And we often see this depicted in movies. People are sitting alone, lonely on a bench in the park, looking out into the vast sea. And we get this picture where people are just almost reviewing their life. And there's a sense here that you may be reflecting and reviewing over things that are closing, things that are coming to an end, moves that you're about to make that are going to signify this change. That's going to change the course of that container, that relationship, that path that you're on, into something different that's going to allow you to evolve into an upgraded, more conscious version of yourself where you're at now, because I'm sensing your soul wants to grow. It's like, move me out of these doors. Let me go through these doors. I want to push through. I'm ready to leave this room and go to the next room. This is, again, with the moon in Pisces, I get flushing energy. So you may feel emotions like crying. Allow them to come out, because you're going to feel better. It's like having a good cry. And you always feel better after a good cry, because it's all energy escaping. It's kind of like peeing, going to the bathroom and peeing. Your bladder feels good, right? It doesn't feel good when you hold it. Similar when you cry. It's the same type of energy. It's just escaping up here through the eyes. And your tears are going to allow you to wash and purify this away, and also transmute some of this energy that's happening. I kept getting something creative here to connect. You know when there's a particular movie, song, quote, passage, mantra that helps you? Almost like wax when you used to seal letters back in the day and you close it, a finality to that. We're ready to send this off. Something like that is coming up with this moon in Pisces. So at the end of the week, you may want to do some type of cathartic ritual where you sing or dance or read something that is especially meaningful to you, or connect to a special environment, like your special corner, a couch, nature, whatever it is. Because I feel like going through that process is very much going to allow you to go through those emotions like I mentioned. And it's going to allow you to almost create a sense of finality for yourself, especially for those of you that cannot get the closure that you want. Pisces rules over feet. And immediately I channeled, it's time to get back on our feet. So this is a week, a big week. I feel like there's very positive energies and a lot of introspective energy and time to be with yourself, to nurture yourself, to take care of yourself, especially with all of this releasing, letting go energy, and closing up some things from our past. Coming up on the 21st, next week, two big things. We've got the sun ingressing into Capricorn and the winter solstice up here in the northern hemisphere for folks. And naturally, the summer solstice for folks in the southern hemisphere. So shift in energy happening from fire to earth. And we're going to feel that. It's going to feel more weighted. So stay tuned for that next week. We're going to get into the forecast with the tarot. Tarot allows us to go deeper. I channel a lot of messages, as many of you are aware of if you're tuned in. So I want to see if there's anything else we need to be aware of this week. Again, it's been a series of themes. Excuse me, it's been a theme. Series of repeating themes of letting go, cleaning up. It's as if, think about if you lived in a home with 100 rooms and you're by yourself and you're being asked, you got to clean this up. It's not going to happen in one day. It's kind of like that. This is all metaphorical. So there's different areas of your life you've been slowly cleaning up. You're making way for something new. And cycles are culminating here because the new moon is also guiding you. It's going to be time to start that new thing that's coming up for each and every one of us. Okay, what do we need to know? What additional information, guidance, messages does the universe want us to know for this week? To keep it short, I'm plucking 3 cards. Another reference in addition to kids are chickens. So some of you may have chickens. Chickens speak of fertility, abundance, feminine energy as well. You're hatching something new. You know when chickens lay, this is what I'm getting right now. Two references. Willy Wonka, the gold egg from the machines, which is very Aquarian because those chickens were not, they were robotic chickens, weren't they? If I remember correctly. And then I'm getting chickens when they lay eggs. They like pop out. And then you lift the chicken up if it's on top of the eggs and you see the eggs. So something's about to be hatched. Okay, we got the 9 of Wands, fire energy, Leo, I almost said Virgo, Leo, Aries, Sagittarius. Virgo is coming through here strongly. 5 of Coins, Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus, earth energy. And Page of Swords, air, Gemini, Aquarius, Libra. Damn, it's like this is reading everything. 9 signifies ending, 5 changes. I'll explain these before we get to the other ones. Wherever there has been any type of discordance in your life, and it doesn't have to be conflict or some type of drama, it doesn't have to be that way. It just simply has felt like things may have not given you or provided you an inner sense of equilibrium. You just felt something was off, and that's what I'm meaning, or that's what I'm implying here. Something here is calling for you to change and shift, and this has to do with your mindset, your belief systems. Some of you are letting that go. They're coming to an end. So if any of you have dictated or have said to yourself, this is how life has to be, or this is my life, this is how things always are, I feel like you're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, if you will. You're seeing something greater or have experienced this week. Excuse me, I'm saying it in different tense in the past. You may have experienced something, or this week is going to show you that experience. So if I ever use verb tenses, past, present, or future, I use that because of the timelines of everyone. They're shifting constantly. So don't really put weight on my verbs, the tenses. Take it as it resonates for where you are. So for some of you that have not experienced this, obviously this is going to come up. You're being guided this week. Strong emphasis on, okay, time to end this. This old way of being, of existing. Almost as if you've run out of dreams. The universe is telling you, no, you haven't. If you feel like where you are now or what you've been living now is all there is, that's not. There's more. There's fears being released here as well. There's energies here of confronting fears that are coming up. And perhaps those are going to be known to you and expressed to you through this retrograde we're having coming up with Capricorn retrograding. Excuse me, Mercury and Capricorn retrograding very soon. I also feel it with the square, the sun squared to Neptune, also the moon. But the moon is going to move out of this faster, obviously, than the sun. but we're getting a sense of what has come to an end. There's a time element here, especially with Saturn. Something is coming to an end and we're hearing the tick-tock of it, especially in our bodies. We're feeling it. This is all feeling energy I've been getting the last several weeks. It's nothing outside of you where you can look at your clock and you're like, yeah, this is coming to an end. For some, obviously, you're going to know certain dates and parameters that are going to dictate, yeah, I'm done with this job by this date, or I'm done with this, or whatever. But for many, there's a sense of, especially with belief systems and perspectives, they're becoming outmoded. Something is going to become history for you. Because once we move on to tomorrow, everything that happened today becomes part of the past. It's so fleeting. It's so fast. And I was having my own existential conversation about this recently, the genealogical reasons behind patterns and family and everything like that. There's something coming up here with you as well. Some of you are going to let go of this because you don't want to feel this way anymore. And with a Page of Swords, this is something new. Page of Swords is a new way of looking at something. Whether it's, I feel like many of you are going to receive this. It's a transmission of information from within, from your own soul, from your spiritual team, from something practical, from a resource, a book, a teacher, a guide that comes your way, or something you see in a movie or in the song, whatever it is. Also psychically, channeling. Something is going to almost allow you to say, you know what, it's time to turn the page this week, but it's something you have to realize from within. Because when you hit a moment in your life where you feel like you're at rock bottom, which is going to be very different for everyone, it's only you that's going to say, you know what, I'm ready to leave this pit. I kept getting this message too, I think with the new moon, because the new moon energies are strong. They're really asking us, some of you have reached this pit in your life, and it could be a place of darkness, a place of I don't want to be here anymore, and also a place of, you know what, I've run out of everything that I can learn in this situation, in this pattern, in this belief system, in this relationship, in this job, in this volunteer position, in this schooling, whatever it is. It's going to be different for everyone. And your soul's like, okay, time to float back up towards the light. Ever notice when you're deep down in the ocean, obviously you get further away from the shore, from the sun's light. So something is being illuminated to you. We're going back old school with the Moonology deck. Let's see what other information, what other messages and guidance we need to know. Thank you. I'm going to pull the others. I have two more decks, two more oracles. Anything else we need to know, please, for this week? I'm pulling from the Starseed Work Your Light, excuse me, oracle deck. What else do we need to know or be aware of this week? For some of you, I get your light. There's a fear around that. A fear of putting yourself out there or connecting to your truth in some way. Okay, we're plucking. I don't know why I'm saying plucking instead of picking. Something about chickens coming through. Strong message about chickens. It's not a joking. I'm not talking about this to joke. Something about chickens. Some of you may have chickens may be your spirit animals or guides. You may have pet chickens or may want to connect with chickens in some way. Final message, please. Okay, thank you. Okay, we got emotions are running high, supermoon. I get that towards the end of the week, and especially with the retrograde crossing, you know, with this new moon in Sagittarius, Mercury retrograde, I should specify. There's going to be things that you are going to uncover within yourself as we go through this, that you're going to see in a different way, and that's what's going to help you gain clarity, like I mentioned before. Important to really express your emotions in a safe way. So if you feel like they spike, because there could be a fluctuation of emotions, particularly with the energies this week, even though they're very helpful and massaging and they're helping us process along. Almost like when you have a pillow and someone is moving you along, it's not harsh. It's not like someone's poking at you. So for everyone, depending on the extremes of your emotions, this is, again, a really good time to name those emotions and what you're feeling and to express them in some way. And if it involves something heated, that's going to be something for you to ask yourself, is this something that I even want to expend energy on? Because sometimes it's as if you're accelerating a car, and you accelerate. When you accelerate, you spend more gas. It's not very efficient. That's why many cars, especially newer cars these days, have those smart technologies or efficient fuel efficiency type of, systems. So be careful of your emotions and how you want to make them or make them more efficient, I think is the better word this week. Because if there's something that's triggering you over and over, you constantly putting your emotions and energy and time into that is not going to help you move forward in the way that you want. For some of you, this is going to happen when you just take time for yourself to process the emotions and to allow yourself to express them, whether it's by grieving, crying, getting angry, talking it out. We have protection. This is with the Starseed Oracle. Call back your power, cut cord, soul retrieval. I almost wanted to say something about cord cuttings this week, especially with Saturn and Aquarius energy. There's something that's going to end to the past that you're not going to repeat. Let me put this card further up. So for any of you that are in the midst of cleaning, of releasing, moving things out, and just shifting the energy around your home, this could also mean becoming aware of anything that's tied to your past that doesn't bring up or denote or even evoke good or positive memories for you. Because sometimes that means letting go of that particular object or a point of awareness, like a mindset. It could be someone, a person, especially if the energies are repeatedly coming up for you. Even here, look at this. Here's a new moon. So there's something that's going to be revealed here. Some of you may want to do a complete cleanse. Energetic cord cuttings, there's hypnosis, there's, what are those called? Meditations. And you can use smoke, you can use sunlight, you can use moonlight as well, nature, salt to cleanse yourself too. Final message here, open to abundance, 8. Believe you deserve, accept plenty and prosperity. This is the antithesis to this card, 5 of coins or 5 of pentacles. Some of you are completely shifting from a lack, scarcity mindset to one of abundance, and you're being called to that. And there's a slow momentum forward because people always think it has to do with money. Money is just one of many things that defines prosperity and abundance, but that also has to do with the people that you keep around in your energy or allow into your bubble or your life, the type of jobs that you entertain. And there's so much more I can unpack here. And also to just caution on the way I said it, because there's more to that. I'm just saying this because I don't want to go too deep into these themes just for time's sake. But I feel like many of you are realizing your worth. That's key. You're cleaning up the energies around you. It's not just dirty socks and trash. It's going to be people around you, things that you've entertained that your mindset's like, nope, we've grown from this. We're ready to move on. So pay attention to what you really desire and whether or not what you have right now matches that, because that's going to clue you into what areas, especially where you want to see more of this abundance in your life, more expansiveness, more growth, where that may need more work, more attention. Okay, you all, I hope this week's forecast and this reading has helped provide a little more clarity to you. There's a lot happening all at once. It's going to be a week of almost going out and then in. So pay attention again to what you're seeing. I should say, let me rephrase that, what you're sensing. Because when I say seeing, it's not always physical. It's usually more psychic, more intuitive. Pay attention to what you're sensing, what you're feeling within, because those are also cluing you in. I wish you a beautiful week ahead. I wish you an illuminating new moon and a lot of patience for this retrograde, because more puzzle pieces are going to be illuminated for you going forward. Thank you so much for being here. Again, I would love it if you could please hit the thumbs up button if this was useful to you in any way. It really helps support my channel as I grow. Thank you again for being here. I will see you soon. Take care.